FBI warning. Federal law provides severe civil and criminal penalties for the unauthorized reproduction, distribution, or exhibition of copyrighted motion picture tapes and video. Title 17, United States Code, Section 501 and 506. All rights reserved under copyright laws. Who were the first inhabitants of the United States? The Indians were the first people who lived in the United States. Who discovered America and when? Christopher Columbus in 1492. When and where was the first English settlement established? Jamestown, Virginia, in 1607. Where did they come from and in what ship? The Pilgrims' fathers sailed from England, Plymouth, in a ship called the MAYFLOWER. Who were the Pilgrim Fathers? They came from England because they wanted freedom to worship God. Where did they land in America? They landed on Plymouth Rock, Massachusetts, on December 21st, 1620. Name the 13 colonies. Virginia was settled in 1607. New York in 1614. Massachusetts in 1620. New Hampshire settled in 1623. Connecticut settled in 1633. Maryland in 1634. Rhode Island settled in 1636. Delaware settled in 1638. North Carolina in 1650. New Jersey in 1664. South Carolina in 1670. Pennsylvania settled in 1682. And Georgia settled in 1733. What is our greatest national holiday? The 4th of July. Why do we celebrate the 4th of July? It is the Independence Day. When was the Declaration of Independence signed? July 4th, 1776. Why did the 13 colonies become dissatisfied with British rule? Because of taxation without representation, and this caused the Revolutionary War. What is the Boston Tea Party? On October 14, 1773, the colonists in Boston threw the cargo of tea overboard because the British government levied taxes on tea. When was the First Continental Congress called? It was called for in Philadelphia September 5th through October 26th, 1773. What did the First Continental Congress accomplish? The patriot leaders of American Revolution met at the convention to unite in the spirit of independence. Who was Patrick Henry? He is the patriot leader who inspired people for generations with a famous outcry, "Give me liberty or give me death." When did the Independence War begin? The American Revolution began in April 1775? Who was the commander-in-chief of the American Army during the American Revolution in 1775? George Washington. What is the Liberty Bell? The Liberty Bell was hung in the tower of the Independence Hall, Philadelphia, and on July 4th, 1776, it rang out joyously when Declaration of Independence was adopted. What does the Liberty Bell symbolize? It is the symbol of the freedoms, rights, and opportunities of all native-born and naturalized Americans. Who helped the colonists fight the British troops? The French government supported the independents and sent fleets to help the revolutionary armies. How many delegates were there to sign the Declaration? There were 56 members of the Congress, including such famous personalities as John Hancock, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson. When was the Congress of the United States called? It was called in March 1789. George Washington was the first president of the United States. In what year was he elected? George Washington was elected in February of 1789. Who was the second president of the United States of America? The second president was John Adams, 1797 to 1801. Who was the third president of the United States of America? The third president, Thomas Jefferson, 1801 through 1809. What was the Civil War? It was the war between the United States of America and the Confederate States of America. Who was the President of the United States during the Civil War? Abraham Lincoln, 1861. How long did the Civil War last? The Civil War lasted over 4 years, from the time of the fall of Fort Sumter in April of 1861 to the surrender of General Robert E. Lee in Virginia in April 1865. How did President Lincoln die? He was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, an actor, in Ford's Theater in Washington on April 14, 1865. What are the famous phrases which President Lincoln spoke at Gettysburg? President Lincoln said in his Gettysburg address in 1863 that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. What are the colors of the United States flag? Red, white, and blue. What do the colors stand for? Courage, truth, and justice. How many stars are in the flag? There are 50 stars. What do the stars stand for? "50 stars stand for 50 states. How many stripes are in the flag? There are 13 stripes. What do the stripes stand for? They stand for the first 13 states. What is the capital of the United States? Washington, D.C. What does D.C. stand for? D.C. stands for the District of Columbia. Who adopted the American flag as the symbol of our country? The American flag was adopted by the Congress of the United States. When was the flag adopted? Our flag was adopted on June 14th, 1777. Who made the first flag? Betsy Ross. How should one salute the flag? When the flag raises, one should stand at attention. The men should remove their hats, and the ladies should place their right hand over their hearts. Persons in uniform should stand in attention and give military salute. How should one pledge allegiance to the flag? By placing the right hand over the heart and repeating the pledge to the flag. Is the American flag known by any other name? Yes, it is known as the Stars and Stripes. The Constitution of the United States. What is the highest law of the United States? The highest law of the United States is the Constitution. Can the Constitution be changed? Yes, it can. What is the change in the Constitution called? The change in the Constitution is called amendments. How many amendments are there? There are 26 amendments. What do we call the first 10 amendments? The first 10 amendments are called the Bill of Rights. What are some of the rights guaranteed by the Bill of Rights? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom to have jury, and security in the home. What does Amendment 13 do? Amendment 13 freed the slaves. What did Amendment 14 do? Amendment 14 made Negroes citizens. What did Amendment 15 do? Amendment 15 gave Negroes the right to vote. What did Amendment 16 do? Amendment 16 gave Congress the right to levy an income tax. What did Amendment 17 do? Gave the people the right to elect United States senators. Amendment 18 created national prohibition. Amendment 19 gave women the right to vote. Amendment 22 limited the president to 2 terms in office. How is an amendment made? An amendment is made by a 2/3 vote of Congress, ratified by 3/4 of the states. What is the highest or supreme law of the United States? The Constitution. What is the Bill of Rights? The Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments. Name the 3 branches of the United States government. The legislative, the executive, and the judicial. What do these branches do? The legislative branch makes the law, the executive enforces the law, and the judicial branch explains the law. Why do we have 3 departments? To divide the power and have checks and balances. The legislative branch of the national government Who makes the laws in the United States? Laws are made by the Congress through the legislative branch. Where does the Congress get its power? The Congress gets its power from the Constitution. Can the President make laws? No, the President cannot make laws. The President can only recommend laws. Who declares wars? Wars can only be declared by Congress. Can the President declare war? No, the President cannot declare war. He asks Congress to do so. How many houses does Congress have? The Congress has two houses, the State House or the Senate, and the House of Representatives. How many members are there in the Senate? There are 100 senators, 2 from each state. How long do they serve? Senators serve for 6 years. How many members are there in the House of Representatives? There are 438 members. How long do they serve? House of Representatives serve for 2 years. How many members are there in the House of Representatives from each state? It depends on the population of the state. What are some of the things that the Congress can do? Congress makes the laws, declares war, levies income taxes, builds post offices, and builds harbors. How many members are there in the Congress? There are 538 members in the Congress. How do the members of Congress get their position? They are elected by the people. Where and when does Congress meet? The Congress meets in Washington, D.C. on the third day of January each year. It continues in session most of the year. The executive branch of the national government Who is the chief executive of the United States? The President of the United States. How is the President elected? The President is elected by the people through elections. How long does the President serve, and how many times can one man be President? The President serves 4 years and can serve 2 terms if re-elected. What are the duties of the President? The President enforces the law. He is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. He makes treaties with the consent of the Senate. Does the President have anyone to help him? Yes. The President has 14 cabinet members. Who are the cabinet members? They are called secretaries. Each one is the head of a department in the government. Who takes the President's place if he dies or is removed from office? The Vice President. Next in line is the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Who was the first President of the United States? George Washington. Which president freed the slaves? Abraham Lincoln. Who was the president during World War I? The president during World War I was Woodrow Wilson, 1913 to 1921. What form of government do we have? We have a republic. Representative democracy. What is a republic? A republic is a government run by the people. The president is the highest officer elected by the people. What are some of the things done for us by the national government? The national government gives us Social Security, postal service, naturalization laws, passports, military protection, and most important, personal freedom. The Judicial Department. What is the highest court in the United States called? The United States Supreme Court. How many members are there in the Supreme Court? There are 9 members, 1 Chief Justice and 8 Associate Justices. What other courts are there below the United States Supreme Court? There are 11 circuit courts and 93 district courts, or more. How are members of the United States Supreme Court elected? They are appointed by the President and approved by the Senate. How long do they serve? They are appointed for life on good behavior. Why does the United States have 3 branches of government? 3 branches are more democratic. When there are 3 branches, each acts as a check and balance for the others. The state government. Who makes the laws for the state? The state legislature, it has 2 houses, the Senate and the Assembly. Who is the chief executive of the state? The governor is the chief executive of the state. How long does a governor serve? The governor serves 4 years. Who enforces the laws for the state? The governor. What is the highest court in the state called? The state Supreme Court. What does the state give us? The state gives us many of the state institutions, educational privileges, highways, insurance, railroad regulations, and rangers. What are the divisions of the legislature? The state Senate and the Assembly. Who presides over the Senate? The Lieutenant Governor. County government. What is the legislative department of the county government? The County Board of Supervisors. They serve 4 years. How many members are there in the County Board of Supervisors? There are 5 members. What are some of the other county officers? The county clerk, the county treasurer, county auditor, county tax collector, the county superintendent of school, the district attorney, the public administrator, and the superior judge. Who makes the laws in the county? The supervisors. Who enforces the laws of the county? The sheriff or the chief of police of the county. What is the court of the county called? The Superior Court. What does the county give us? The county gives us institutions for the sick and dependent, and for the widows and orphans, and tax regulations. The city government. What is the constitution of a city government called? A charter. Who is the chief executive of a city? The mayor. What is the legislative department of a city? It is usually the city council. What is the judicial department of a city? The municipal court or justice court or both. What are some of the common city ordinances? Regulating the speed limits, disposal of garbage, construction of buildings, and the issuing of licenses and permits. The city laws are made by the councilman. The city laws are enforced by the mayor. What are the courts of the city called? Police court or municipal court? What does the city give us? The city gives us police and fire protection, parks and street improvements, playgrounds, and schools. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Once again, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You will need to find the answers to the following questions: the name of the United States President, the name of the United States Vice President, the senators of your state, as well as the name of the United States Chief Justice, the name of the governor in your state, as well as the mayor of your city, and the name of your congressman. Find out the names of your senator, your state assemblyman, your councilman, and your county supervisor.